The world is closely watching the developments in China. Demonstrations erupted across the country with protesters demanding freedom from zero-COVID policies, as well as the Communist Party's tightening grip over all aspects of life. Jeong Eun-joo has the latest.
Thousands of people in China over the weekend demanded greater democracy and freedom from the country's increasingly costly zero-COVID policy. As the numbers swelled at demonstrations in multiple major cities, protesters have also called for the removal of Chinese leader Xi Jinping, who has overseen a strategy of lockdowns, mass testing, and digital tracking against COVID-19 for 3 years. The Biden administration reacted cautiously on Monday to the Chinese citizens' protests.
We're watching this closely, as you might expect we would. And again, we continue to stand up and support the right of peaceful protest.
The White House's expressions of support for the protesters come as U.S. President Joe Biden is trying to ease tensions with Beijing. UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly also told reporters the Chinese government should listen to the voices of its own people, while Britain's Prime Minister criticized the government's arrest of a BBC journalist. The United Nations on Monday also echoed these sentiments as they urged Chinese authorities to guarantee people's right to demonstrate peacefully. The protests were triggered by a deadly fire last Thursday in Urumqi, Xinjiang that killed 10 people. Demonstrations that started in Urumqi spread to cities across China, including Beijing, Shanghai, and Wuhan. Protesters held up blank sheets of white paper, a symbolic protest against censorship, and chanted for human rights and freedom. Some also shouted against dictatorship and sang the Internationale, a socialist anthem that was sung during pro-democracy protests in Beijing's Tiananmen Square in 1989. The Chinese government quickly moved to suppress the protests by deploying police forces and tightening online censorship. While demonstrations in many parts appear to have been dispersed peacefully, there have also been reports of people meeting stronger responses from authorities. Jeong Eun-joo, Arirang News.